So today you'll want your usual props, 2 blocks, your strap, and your massage ball, and a blanket if you have one, in case you might want to use that for, we're going to practice or try to practice pigeon pose at the end. It will be an option, in which case many of us use blankets to prop up the hip. And the option to pigeon pose is the figure 4 stretch on your back. If you have any challenges with your knees or it's not comfortable for you. Okay, so from here, it looks like you're all muted. Just double check, make sure you are, so that we can have a good recording to put on our YouTube account with no interruptions. So finding a comfortable way to sit. Make sure you can feel your sits bones connected to whatever's beneath you. And sit nice and tall. Think of your spine as Jacob's ladder, just letting it rise, rooted into the ground, reaching up to the heavens. Allow your palms to either rest face down on your legs or bring the palms to turn up. Whatever feels most grounding and natural for you this morning or today, whenever you're practicing this. And take a moment to, with your eyes, just look around the space that you're in. Just orient yourself to the space in which you're practicing. And if you would like to, you can close your eyes and begin to take that seeing, that looking inward. And begin to notice what's true for you today in this moment. Noticing any sensations in the body. Noticing any thought patterns in the mind without latching on to them. Just notice any thought patterns. Bring attention to your heart, to your emotional state. And noticing what's true for you right now. Begin to bring in some mindful breath. We'll practice samavriti, which is equal breath. So you can breathe in through your nose to, I would say 5. Just try to fill up the lungs to a count of 5. And then exhale through pursed lips for a count of 5. Or whatever count feels comfortable and natural for you. We want to make sure that we're not straining and not holding the breath at any particular time. So looking for a nice ebb and flow of the breath, just like the ocean. One wave connecting to the next. Just as in the chant Goleil or mipnei chosech, chosech mipnei or. Light turns to darkness, darkness rolls into light. In constant movement, allow your breath to follow that. If the mind starts to wander, bring it back to the soft inhales and exhales. Our reading today is from the book called Sacred Intentions, Morning Inspiration to Strengthen the Spirit, based on Jewish wisdom. And this piece is by Rabbi James Stone Goodman. Finding God in your place. God is in this place and I didn't know it. Genesis 28:16. Jacob awoke from his dream with these words. They are a way of describing the paradox of God everywhere, all the time. A child dying, a war happening, an earthquake, a disease, a famine, a curse. It's a way of authenticating the whole grand scheme. It is what it is, and it is still full of God. Not either or, but both, all of the above. Don't I know this about life? I do know it, but I don't have words for it. Neither did Jacob. So he said, God is in this place and I don't know a darn thing. A feeling so expansive it drives everything else out, all the contradictions gone. God is in this place, this moment. The rocks are God. The ground is God. You and me are God. Light and darkness are God. No place is empty of this presence. When Jacob felt that, all the illusions collapsed into one long affirmative embrace that pushed all his prior notions out of him. And he said, surely God is in this place and I don't know a thing. This is the beginning of wisdom. Now Jacob was free to be taught the truth of the world, as are we. So again, noticing any circumstances in your life or in the lives that surround you, and perhaps bringing an affirmation that all is one, that all is from the one source, the one creator. And that we can bring these qualities of love and wisdom and peace wherever we are. That these are accessible within ourselves, our own pain, our own grieving, in our celebration and in our joy. We can remember, we can affirm, God is in this place too. Our practice today will be rather fluid. We're going to try to bring in that energy of ocean waves, of coming and going, keeping the breath flowing, moving. Noticing the opposites of our poses, just when we're in a forward fold versus when we're in an extended space with an open heart. We're just going to play and notice the difference. And in those challenging poses, we can notice this feels pretty hard. But there's good in this too. We're growing in the hard poses and we're growing in the easier, softer, more receptive poses. So just, that's my invitation to you today. Let's start with cat-cow. And always knowing that you can take care of your wrists if you have sensitive wrists. You can come onto your fingertips or your knuckles, whatever you need to do, or you can take a break. We're gonna try a kind of a wave way of doing our cat and our cow. So bring the palms out in front of you, maybe just a little bit, the wrist just a little bit forward of your shoulders. And we're gonna round the back. And then tuck the toes and start to come into your cow and sit back just a little bit. So your hips come back towards your heels. And then round the back, flatten your feet and rock forward. The head is down. And then tuck the toes, arch the back. And this will look different for everyone, but keeping this flow of the spine. Don't worry about doing it right. Just keep breathing and noticing the undulation of the spine. You can make the movement as big or as small as you want. Come up to all fours. Bring the hands a little more underneath your shoulders and play with side bending and wagging the tail. Let the head go. Take a big deep breath in and then let out a nice long exhale through your open mouth. Like a big sigh. You might even stick your tongue out a little bit. Good. We're going to come all the way forward now. You can come to your forearms if that's better for you in transition, and come all the way onto your bellies. Bring your hands out in front of you and tent your fingers. Keep your legs firm, the tops of your feet pressing into the floor, and draw your navel in. So you want to really protect the lower back here by creating some stability in the core. And then we're going to start with your forehead on the floor and press your feet into the floor and start to rise up. And then let the head be the last thing to come up, gently pressing into those tented fingers, coming into a little cobra, and then starting with the lower belly, start to let the spine come down. Head is the last thing to come down. Then rise up. Think of your, it's almost like if you've ever seen those weightlifters or people in the gym that are working with the ropes, a really heavy rope and you see them shaking the ropes and the movement travels down through the rope. Just think of that undulation in your own spine. This is the last one. Bring your hands under your forehead and then lift your right leg and lengthen it out just away from your body. Really think of someone stretching your leg out for you, and then place it back down. Left leg lifts up, extend, reach, and place it down. Now re-engage your core again. Pull your navel up as if there's a little flame under your belly button that you're trying not to touch, and then lift both legs. Any height is fine, and just start to slowly, like you're snorkeling, like a little flippers on your feet. You're going to slowly snorkel, activating the glutes, the back of the legs. Good. And then release the legs to the floor. Your head is still on your hands. Bend your knees and just wave your legs from side to side like windshield wipers. Release the hips, the lower back. Pause at the center and then just make some circles with your toes pointing up to the sky. So little circles, just bringing some lubrication to the knees and the hips. And pause and change direction with your circles. Breathe. Good. And release. We're going to make sure we have our strap and one block. We're going to come onto our backs. Let's do some work with our straps, with our legs here. So get your strap around the bottom of your right leg. You're holding onto the strap with both hands. You can choose whether to straighten the left leg or leave it bent. We're going to do a little, think of it as it's like a flossing of the muscles in the back of the leg. So the foot is flexed. Shimmy your shoulders down away from your ears. And use your hands to help steer your leg. You're going to pull your belly in, and I want you to start to lower your right leg toward the floor. Your abs are definitely going to be engaged here. And then point your toes and use the straps to pull your leg back up. And then flex your foot at the top and start to lower your heel toward the floor. You can go as far as you want. I want to make sure your back is feeling comfortable. Point the toe. Bring the leg back up. Good. When you point the toe, your strap's going to threaten to jump off your foot, but hopefully it will stay on. Keep some tension on the strap so that doesn't happen. At least it feels a little safer than when we use the TheraBands. Those things can be a little scary. And then just taking this movement to place it at the top where you really feel a stretch. Breathing into it, and then really flexing that right foot and leading with your heel as you come down. Pointing the toes, draw a nice straight line toward over your head. Good, last time. Pause at the top. You're still holding the straps with both your hands, and keep your belly pulled in and just start to make some circles and use your straps as little reins. Nice and slow. I want you to look for those places where there's stuck energy, any stagnation or darkness. God is in those places in our body that need healing as well. There's that divine spark always available. Sometimes it's disguised as a curse or something bad, but often there's something there to be gleaned. If you haven't already changed directions, go ahead and do that. You want to keep checking in with your lower belly and make sure that it's engaged so that your left side of your body isn't rocking and rolling all over the place. You want to try to keep it stable. Good. Last circle. Go ahead and release your strap from that side and just lay with your legs, both of them, on the floor, and just take a moment to let the blood come back to the lower leg on that right side. Notice any difference between the two legs. Good. Let's change sides. Bring that strap around the left foot. Foot is flexed. We'll start with the flexing. So the foot is flexed. You're going to lead with your heel as you bring the heel down. So that strap obviously might slide between your hands until you find just the right length. You're pointing your toes as you come up, flexing your foot as you come down. Navel is pulled in. I tend to inhale on my way up and exhale as my leg goes down. It helps me to engage my core, see what works for you. Let's do one more. Pausing at the top, readjust your hands as needed and start to make some circles with that straight left leg. Keeping the right side stable. Your body's going to want to take the path of least resistance. That's just how we are. It's the wisdom of the body. So you will have to consciously visit those places that your body wants to skip. Those are the dark places. Those are the tight places. So slow down in those spots and reverse your circles if you haven't already. Last time. Good. Release the strap. Bring that left leg down onto the floor to meet the right. Just take a couple of breaths here. Bring your knees into your chest. Give them a squeeze. Stretch out that lower back. Do what feels good here. Okay, we're going to use our block now and bring it between the knees. So the feet are on the floor, knees are bent. We're going to set up for a bridge pose. So the block is here between the thighs to remind you to engage those inner thighs as part of your core. We're going to press your feet, your heels are next to your bottom. You should maybe be able to, if you reach down there with your arms, you might be able to graze your heels with your index finger or middle finger, or be very close to it. We're going to start to peel the spine up, coming into a bridge. Squeeze the block. Lift your toes so you know you're not gripping with your toes. Good. Feel the whole back of the body activated here. And breathe and lower down. Good. Now bring your fingers to the tops of your shoulders. So you just gave yourself little baby chicken wings, and just start to make some circles with your elbows. Up, back, and out to the sides. Good. So we're going to combine these two. So go ahead and keep your fingertips on your shoulders, and then start to lift your hips. As you lift your hips and squeeze the block, start to do a circle with your little baby wings. And then as you lower your hips, those wings come out to the side. So this will be a pretty slow movement, because we want to do this in conjunction with our breath. Breathe in a way that feels natural for you as you move through this dynamic bridge and shoulder opener. If you want to try reversing your circles with your arms, you can do that. We're going to do 3 more. You're squeezing that block. You're squeezing the back of the glutes. This is your last one. If you've already done your last one, you can go ahead and release the block. And you can hug your knees into your chest. And then bring the feet back down to the mat. Knees are still bent. Walk your feet out to the edges of your mat. Arms can come up overhead if you want. They don't have to, but they certainly will open up the front of the body a little bit more. So leaving the feet where they are, just let the knees windshield wiper from side to side, nice and slow. So your knees are pretty wide apart. Take your time with this. And last time. We're getting a little quad stretch here too. Come back to center. One last knees to chest. This time wide knees, like a happy baby pose. Maybe you grab your shins, or maybe you hold on to the outer edges of your feet. Whatever works for you. Good. We're going to roll to our sides. We're going to come to standing. Have your ball nearby. Let's start with that. Let's do some foot massage. Bring the ball under your right foot and just give it some love. I don't know why I just thought of this story. It's a kid's story called We're Going on a Bear Hunt. Have you guys heard of that story? If you have, raise your hand so I know. It's a really sweet story. And the whole theme of it is that these families going on a bear hunt. And they have to go through all of these like storms and mucky mud and just all kinds of obstacles, right? Go ahead and switch feet. And the line in the book is, you know, how are we gonna get through it? It's like a storm. We can't go over it. We can't go under it. We've got to go through it. And that's the whole. That's the chorus of the book. You can't go over it. Can't go under it. Got to go through it. And I think, especially now in life, with everything going on, it's so important for us to go through whatever feelings we're having, whether they're about what's happened or what's coming, whatever's there. There's really no getting around it. We have to move through it. We have to go through the dark places in order to roll into the light. And then we get to the light, we have to go through that too, meaning we have to embrace it and really take it in and not be in fear that it's going to go away. Okay, to really embrace both the dark and the light. Okay, go ahead and remove the ball off the mat. Do a little ankle rotations on both sides, whatever feels good. We're going to stand in mountain pose, so the feet are hip width apart. We'll just do some half sun salutations. We're going to inhale, reach up, and exhale, bend those knees and fold forward. This is where you might want a block or two, totally up to you. What I would like is for you just to make sure you're not hanging, that your hands have a place to land. And if that means you bend your knees quite a bit, that's totally fine. Let your head go. Just take in the forward fold here. And then pull your navel in. Bring your hands to your shins and inhale, come halfway up with a flat back. And then exhale, let yourself fold again. Dive in. Start to look up. Start to slide your hands up and then reach those arms out to the side. Reach all the way up. Good. And hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Baruch atah Adonai. Bending at the knees, bowing. Let yourself hang here and remembering that Baruch is blessing, but it also shares the same root of the words for knee, to bend at the knee. Start to come up with a flat back. Reach your arms out. And together into the heart. Bring your palms over your heart. God is in this place. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Baruch atah Adonai. Blessed are you, Adonai. Inhale, come up. Open up those arms. Exhale, hands to the heart. And place your hands over your heart. Feel your heartbeat. God is in this place. Let's go ahead and move the blocks off to the side. We'll open up the stance a little bit wider than hip width and just start to do some twists. Good. Let's do some 3 thumps, tapping under the collarbones with your fingertips, nice deep breaths. Center of the chest. Big breath in and let out a nice long ah with a smile. Ah, good. Waking up the thymus, waking up the vagus nerve. Good. Let's knock on the rib cage on the side. Let's say good morning to the spleen meridian, all these things that support our immune system. And then shake it out. Okay. We're going to need our 2 blocks, just in case, at the top of your mat. I'm going to set them on the high setting just in case I need them. So we're going to start with warrior 1. So the left, let's bring the left foot forward first and line your heels up with each other, bending that front knee as much as feels comfortable, as long as you don't pass your toes in this position. So we want to pull the belly in. The hips don't need to face exactly forward. They're going to be a little bit at an angle, but your waist and your shoulders are going to rotate so that you're facing the top of your mat. So we're going to take something called a power warrior pose. So that's why the belly needs to be pulled in, because we're going to reach out with our arms, bending that front knee. So we're protecting the back by engaging the core, and just feel the heat building up in that front leg. You can modify, if this bothers your back, bring your hands to your hips, because that creates a little less weight, a little less of a lever on the back. Breathe here. Feel the heat building up. And then we're going to straighten the front leg and bring the arms back into cactus and look up. Feel the relief and the light of this pose. Swing your arms around, bend the front knee, pull the belly in, reach. Reach into the dark, reach into the places that are uncomfortable. Know that you have the strength to be here. God is in this place. And then lift those arms, straighten the front leg, cactus arms, open heart. One more time, sweeping the arms forward, engaging the core, finding your strength right at your center. Back leg is connected to your mat. And then come out of it, open heart, straight leg. Beautiful. Bring your hands to your heart. We're going to come into warrior 2. So the legs can stay the way they are, but you want to adjust probably the feet. So the left foot is still your front foot. Bring your left heel to line up with your back arch. So our feet are in a warrior 2 position. We're going to come into a side angle pose. So the left arm slides down into the thigh, right arm comes up or over at an angle. Breathe here. Be careful not to just hang out on your knee. It's pretty easy to do that. So I want you to pull your belly in and feel your abdominals really active, those obliques active on the side. And then we're going to reverse. We're going to take a reverse warrior, but straighten the front leg as we do it. So we're reaching up. Float back down into your side angle. Keep breathing. Reverse your warrior with a straight leg. Rolling away, light before darkness. Come back into side angle. Darkness before light. Good, come on up. We're going to step the feet together. Take an inhale. Exhale, let it all go. Come up with a flat back. Bring your blocks with you, or maybe you're still at the same position on your mat. I'm going to change mine to the other side just for demonstration. So the right foot is in front again, is in front now. We're going to set it for warrior one, heel to heel alignment. Bend the front knee. I want you to think of drawing the inner thighs toward each other, even though they're not going anywhere. You're going to create some strength in the core here. Pull the belly in. Rotate the waist and shoulders forward. Those arms are going to come out as your belly pulls in. Feel the strength of the front of your leg. Feel yourself connected to the roots of your back leg. Those are your roots. Think of your back leg as your history, as your ancestry, as the strength of your ancestors that brought you to this moment. And then straighten the front leg. Open the heart, gaze up. Cactus arms. Receive, rest. Sweep the arms, come forward. Tapping into the strength of your core. Rising up, open heart. Reaching forward, bending the knee, drawing the navel in. And open the heart, straighten the leg. Good, release your arms down by your side. Change your foot position, maybe heel toe your right foot to the left a little bit, whatever it takes to get that front heel lined up with the back arch. We're going to come into our side angle. Reach with that left hand. Reach diagonally for the heavens or up above you. Press your right knee toward your little toes. Breathe. And then reverse your warrior, but with a straight front leg. Reach up, gaze up. Side angle, nice and slow, diving into darkness. Reverse your warrior, rolling into light. Receive light. We're gonna bring our hands down. Keep your legs nice and wide. Actually, no, don't keep your legs wide. Bring them together. We're gonna inhale, reach up. Exhale, let it all go. You can have your block in front of you if you need it. Take a really big breath and let everything out through your mouth with a sigh. Good. We're going to come up with a flat back. We're going to practice eagle pose. So if you want a chair or if you have a wall that you want to use for some support, you're welcome to do that. We're going to bring those legs together and start to sit in a chair pose. So from the side, just a little chair pose. Lengthen the tailbone, pull the navel in. So think of tipping your pelvis underneath you. And then cross your right ankle over, your right knee over your left knee. Some of you will try to tuck the toes behind your calf, and some of you might just keep those right toes on the floor for some extra support. Anything is fine. Squeeze your thighs together. Sit down as deeply as you can. That actually helps balance. Bring your arms out to the side in a T. Bring your right arm under your left, and then bend those elbows. If you can take hold of your thumbs or your hands, great, that's fine. If that's not available to you, just bring the forearms toward each other. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Breathe here, eagle pose. Good, come on up. Shake it out. We're going to take the other side. Legs together, chair pose. Set up your pelvis, draw your navel in, cross your left knee over your right knee. Do whatever you need to do with the toes of that left foot to help you feel stable. Arms out to the side. This time the left arm comes over the right under. Do the opposite with your arms. Squeeze, sit down as deeply as you can. Breathe and think of the vision of the eagle. Being able to see your life with an eagle's eye from a broader perspective. From way up there, are you able to see that God is in everything, that the universe is one? It's hard to see when we're struggling, right? Good, inhale, let everything go, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart, shake it out. Now we're going to take a nice wide stance. Those toes are going to point forward. Coming into our Prasarita Padottanasana, our wide-legged forward fold. This will be more of a dynamic pose unless you want to stay in a more static position. We're going to fold forward. Come down as much as you can. And rock your weight a little bit toward the balls of your feet without losing the heel contact to your mat. Let your head go. Open your mouth, stretch out your jaw. We're going to practice working with the thoracic spine, doing some twists. So you can press into your hands and come halfway up. When you press into your hands, if you're not halfway up, or you still feel like you're kind of rounded, use a block to give you some height. And squeeze your quads. So I want you to squeeze them until you feel the kneecaps kind of lift. As you do that, you're going to protect the knees and free up the hamstrings. So with your left hand at the center, you're gazing down at your left hand, bring your right hand to your shoulder, just like we did earlier in our warm-ups. And I want you to just circle the right elbow up and twist to your right. And then come back to center. So you're just swimming little swims into a thoracic twist. You can pause in your twist. These are your little baby wings. Last one. Good, we're changing sides. Right hand is directly in front of your gaze. Left hand is coming to the left shoulder. Pull your belly in. So I bet a lot of us just lost that core connection. Start to make some circles. Opening up to the left. Full deep breaths. Good. We're going to let that all go. You're going to release all the way to the floor. Bend the knees just a little bit. Give those knees a break. And then just rock a tiny bit from side to side. Feel the shifting of the weight in your upper thigh bones and in your hips. Good. Now start to heel toe your feet together until you can get your hands on your hips and come up nice and slow. Do some hip circles, release any tension in the hips. Great. Okay. We're going to come down to the floor now. If if you're going to practice pigeon, you might want to have a blanket for support under your hip. So if you are practicing, if you want to try pigeon and then decide if it works for you, and then if you decide it doesn't, then you can just go right into your figure 4 stretch, which we do all the time. Otherwise, for pigeon pose, we're going to come to hands and knees and bring the right knee forward as much as you can in between your hands, and then just place the knee down and let the left leg reach back behind you. Do not worry if your shin, if you've seen in yoga magazines or whatever, the shin is not parallel to the top of your mat. That doesn't matter. What matters is that your knee doesn't hurt when you're doing this. Your hip might be burning and yelling at you. Flex your right foot as much as you're able to. If you feel like you have a huge space between your right butt cheek and the mat, then you just take a towel or blanket or even a block. Sometimes you might need a block. And you just give your hip a place to rest. And then keep inchworming that left leg out behind you. And you can stay in this proud pigeon, or you can come forward either to your forearms or to a block. If you're if you've chosen the figure 4 on your back, then I would like you to play with very slowly making some circles, just shifting from side to side and noticing where you feel the tension. Make some circles just around the edge of your sacrum, the very, very lowest part of your back. With every exhale, everybody, invite your muscles to soften and release into the darker spaces that are holding on. Our bodies hold our emotions and our tension and our traumas until we have the ability and the resources to go into them and to process them. And sometimes all it takes is just breathing in the discomfort until the light starts to come. If you're in pigeon, go ahead and start to press yourself up. Come out of it. Extend your leg if you need to, or do some circles, whatever you need to do. And then we'll come back to all fours and then shift the left knee forward between the hands. Keeping the left foot flexed. Maybe some support under the left gluteal muscles. Engaging the core. You can tent your hands and sit in proud pigeon here. Or come down whenever you're ready. Any modifications that you need to take, knowing that we're just working with the hips, the right hip and then the left hip, outer hip. So whatever works for you today, trust your judgment, trust your body. Let's take 5 more deep, mindful breaths, focusing on the exhale, inviting anything that can let go to let go. Slowly start to come out of your shape, whatever shape you chose. we're going to, if you're already on your back, stay right there. If you did pigeon, you're going to come onto your back and join the rest of the group. We're going to do a little inversion here, so you can bring your block under your hips. Place it right under the sacrum, that flat bone at the very bottom of your spine. You might stay here in this supported bridge. That might feel like enough for you today, or you can bring your legs up and toward your, sorry for the barking, toward your face to take pressure off your abs. You don't want your abs working. Arms can be out by your sides with the palms turned up. Little external rotation of the shoulders to just open the heart. Take some deep breaths here. So filling your lower belly like a balloon, just letting that, feel it expand and rise with the inhale. Letting go with the exhale. Feel your feel the legs actually getting heavier and kind of sinking down into the hip joints. And do some circles with your ankles. Good. And then go ahead and bend your knees toward your chest and bring one foot at a time back to the floor. You can slide the block out from underneath you and just take a final twist. Take your time with this. So whatever feels good for you, take a twist, maybe 5 to 10 breaths on each side to release any tension in the spine, and then any other stretches or movements that you need to prepare for Shavasana. The sound of the bell will invite you to find a place of stillness. Imagine that you're like Jacob, you are finding a place to rest. Your head won't have to lay on a rock for a pillow, though. You can be more comfortable. And let yourself rest and dream. Let yourself dream a sacred dream. A dream of truth. A dream of inspiration. Let yourself receive wisdom. As you release all your effort and allow yourself to rest deeply, feel yourself enveloped by the qualities, the attributes of Adonai: power, peace, wisdom, compassion. Allow yourself to be held and embraced and these qualities that surround you and also are within you, because God is in this place. In wherever circumstance you find yourself in. It will pass. Rolling away light before darkness, darkness before light. Rolling away light before darkness, darkness before light. Goleil mipnei chosech, chosech mipnei or. Goleil mipnei chosech, chosech mipnei or. Rolling away light before darkness, darkness before light. Rolling away light before darkness, darkness before light. Goleil mipnei chosech, chosech mipnei or. Goleil mipnei chosech, chosech mipnei or. Begin to feel the weight of your body resting on the earth. Feel the sensation of air on your skin, the sensation of breath moving through the nostrils. Allow your senses to awaken. Find yourself on your side before you rise up, just resting there on your side. May we look for evidence everywhere around us that there is a creator, that there is God in everything. As you're ready, press yourself up to seated and bring your hands to your heart in prayer position. Feeling the length of your spine once again, this Jacob's ladder spine. Maybe it's a little more straight, a little stronger than when you started this morning. More connected. And let's seal our practice with our loving kindness prayer. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free. May all beings be loved. May all beings have peace. May it be so. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Shalom.